It's Chooch. So we've been on lockdown for over a year now, and people still can't wear their masks right. So for me, it seems like this pandemic is gonna never fucking end, right? For many of us, this year has been so fucking hard. I know for me, I'm a social butterfly, so I really thrive when I'm around people and feeding off their energy and getting that feedback from other people and just being able to nurture and love and host events and host parties and socialize. And so this year, obviously, there's been much, much less of that. I miss the beach. I miss outdoors. I miss just regular shit, festivals. So, I'm sharing a few non conventional ways that I deal with my trauma responses, depression, anxiety, and panic attacks. Because for me, being socially isolated, even though I am lucky and I'm able to kind of see my friends and family a little bit, being in this kind of continued social isolation without any end date is really, really hard for me. So I've had a lot of trauma responses surface and resurface. I've had a lot of issues with just feeling like I'm creeping into a depression again. So I am offering a few trauma response coping skills that can be used for trauma responses, that can be used for panic attacks, they can be used for when you're feeling a little bit depressed, when you're just feeling overwhelmed and you want to take a step back. Um, Anytime your body just feels overstimulated or like you're kind of about to lose it, when you're at a five, anywhere from like a five to an 8 out of 10 on the I'm about to freak out meter, these tools will be super helpful. So these are non-conventional tools, so I personally don't like shit like square breathing, which is where you breathe in for four, hold it for four, let it out for four. I don't like that shit. I think it's annoying. I get too caught up in counting in the numbers and then I get irritated and it doesn't help me. Um, or things like grounding the room, which is where you like count five things you can see, four things you hear, three things you can taste. I don't like that either. I don't like a lot of the conventional things that most people that are in mental health will teach you to do. So I'm gonna give you guys some coping skills that I use that are kind of non-conventional, but disclaimer, I'm not a licensed psychologist, I'm not a doctor. So if you die when you take my advice, you just fucking die. It's not my fault. Don't email me, don't call me, don't text me from your grave. I'm not responsible, I'm not liable. So anyway, three of the things that I use. So these can be used at any time, not necessarily at any place because some of them will require you to like kind of be in a safe place, like at home or in your bed. But the majority of them can be adapted to scenarios that are outside the home. So the first thing I do is I try to do an activity that allows me to physically shift my focus from whatever is having me freak out so that I can stimulate my body. So, for example, some of my favorite activities for this are repeatedly just leaving the apartment and walking up and down the stairs in front of my apartment. Up and down, up and down. I'll do it slow, I'll do it fast, I'll do it running. It doesn't matter. I'll just do it so that way I'm focusing on that physical act as opposed to focusing on what I'm feeling. I'll do things like take shockingly hot baths or cold showers. I actually, in general, even when I'm not upset, well, I don't like the sensation of cold shit when I'm not upset, but in general, I like the sensation of really, really hot water on my skin. Like it actually feels very pleasurable for me. Um, I mean, is that weird? I don't know. But sometimes, like, I will purposely leave the water really, really hot and just like let my hand go under it, and I'll like be like, oh, that feels so good. So maybe I'm strange and who knows. But anyway, one thing I do is take a really, really hot shower or a really, really cold shower or a bath. Either of those alternatives would work. Again, this is going to kind of stop the trauma response of my body freaking out and have me focus on the sensation of the hot or cold water covering my body. Another thing I'll do is smother myself with blankets and pillows to feel the weight of those things on top of me and then focus on my breath. So let me clarify. I mean, figuratively smother myself, not literally. Again, if you smother yourself and you stop breathing and you suffocate and you die, that's on you, not on me. Don't call me. Um, I also will do when I'm doing the intense smothering. So I'll just kind of have all the pillows and blankets on my body while I'm laying on the floor or on the bed, and I'll just lay there. And when you're covered up so well, you really can't think about anything but your breath. So that helps. And I'll do like maybe my duvet cover and like two other blankets. And then on my bed, I have four pillows. Two of them are really, really fluffy, like hotel type pillows, the kind where you lay on them and it like forms around your face, the plushness. So those are heavy. So I'll lay those on my face and the other ones on my body and just like focus on breathing. So that's very helpful for me. Another thing I'll do is I'll do like a pillow fight with my son. As some of you guys might know, he has ADHD, so he's never fucking tired, like ever in life, because he never fucking runs out of energy. So he's always down for a pillow fight. That's a very intense activity, and it's also a really good exercise because it's like you're running around the apartment, you're swinging, you're jumping. I'm screaming. I like to make weird noises. Just let it all out. That's a really great coping skill for me. If you don't have a kid with ADHD, or you just don't have a person in the house to play pillow fight with, you can just do the same thing. Hit the pillow on your bed or on the floor or on the couch. Those things will all work. I also will sometimes run. I have a jade roller that I use for my skincare routine. So sometimes I'll run that on my face or on my forehead or even on my chest, which are high tension places on my body. And that coolness from the jade roller, I like to keep mine in the fridge, but even if you don't, it will still be cool be right before you put it on your face because um it's a rock, right? So it's gonna absorb that cold air. So that will be a really calming sensation for you to feel on your skin when you feel like you're freaking out. Also, sometimes drinking insanely hot tea or eating something really, really cold like ice cream, or the hot tea that is like almost at the point of burning, but not quite. You guys get the picture, right? So, coping skill one is doing activities that physically stimulate parts of my body to shift the focus off of feeling like I'm about to have impending doom or life is about to be over or whatever. Um, the second thing that I do is I remind myself that the fear of whatever I'm scared of is not real. So I will literally speak out loud and be like, okay, girl, like, yes, you just had an experience where you just ate rice. And when you were a kid, something horrible happened to you after you just ate rice. But guess what, bitch? This is not the same day. You're no longer a kid. You're in charge. You're in control. Nobody can hurt you. And you're not going to let this experience with the rice steal your joy. You're not going to let that shit happen. And I will literally verbally repeat that to myself over and over and over. And then, if I need to, if that doesn't help me calm down enough, I will list why the experience is different from the experience that was traumatic. So, for example, you're in your own apartment, nobody is around you, nobody is yelling at you, nobody is cursing you out, nobody is telling you that you're stupid and a piece of shit and worthless and gonna grow up to be a loser. Nobody has hit you, all these different things, right? And so as I list those things, the problem in my head that I've made to be so huge, it becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. Like visually, I see the problem getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So that's another thing you can do. A lot of times, if I can't do that for myself, sometimes I will call a friend and have them do that for me. I have I'm really amazing village, so my friends tend to be really good at talking me off a cliff if I can't do it for myself. If you don't have a friend, I would say record it in a voice memo and then replay it to yourself. That could be something that you could do that could be helpful. So that's number two, which is I remind myself verbally out loud why the fear isn't real, and I will give specific concrete examples if needed to explain to myself how this scenario that triggered me is not the same as a scenario in the past that happened with the traumatic event alongside it. The third coping skill I use is I will validate my feelings and give my body exactly what it needs. So, this particular one is really hard for me because I'm used to either numbing my feelings. If you guys know me, you know that I have a history of alcohol abuse. When my son was little, I have a history of just filling up my schedule with busy shit so I don't have to think about things, using sex as a coping skill. And so I don't do those things anymore. I mean, Still will drink occasionally, much, much, much less than I used to. Once a month, if that. Sometimes it will go months without me having anything to drink, and I'm cool with that. It doesn't bother me. I don't. I would say I don't miss abusing alcohol. Who does? But some people do, I guess, but I don't. Um, you know, I don't use sex as a coping skill, as a coping mechanism anymore because that was unhealthy in that manner. But anyway, I have used all these different activities to kind of like fill the void so that way I don't have time to think about what I'm feeling. And I realized that that wasn't healthy, right? We're all humans, we all have a big range of emotions. And sometimes when bad things happen to us, we're going to feel sad, we're going to feel depressed, we're going to feel angry, we're going to feel like we're losing it. That's a normal reaction to things that have happened that have been hurtful and traumatic for us. So, a big thing for me is allowing myself to feel the actual feeling as opposed to telling myself that I'm overreacting or I'm crazy or I'm making it up when I start to feel like I'm losing control of the situation or of myself. So, for example, the one way that I give my body the whatever it needs based on what the feeling it's currently feeling is if I feel defeated, I might need a lot of sleep because feeling defeated is physically exhausting, right? It's exhausting as fuck. If I feel needy or helpless or scared, I'll tell my son and we'll talk about it. Or I'll ask a girlfriend to come over and sit and talk with me and spend time with me. Or sometimes even have a sleepover, right? Those things. If I feel angry and really enraged and I just can't get that like fire from the pit of my stomach out, I'll rip up paper or I'll punch a pillow or I'll break something that's inconsequential like a pencil or things like that, right? Sometimes if it's really bad, I'll even go outside, go to the playground that we have behind our building, throw wood chips, throw sticks, push the swing with nobody in it real fast and aggressive, like getting that getting that rage out through safe and responsible physical acts. Um, so for me, the key is to own the feelings and be like, okay, like right now I feel fucking sad or I feel fucking angry. And then once I acknowledge the feeling, okay, you feel sad or you feel angry, what do you need to acknowledge and nurture that emotion and let yourself feel the emotion? And then I'll take the steps from there. And it's different every time because sometimes I feel sad and I might not need the same thing that I would need when I feel sad a different time, right? Maybe one time I might need a hug, another time I might need to just go in the closet and cry un uninterrupted without any fear of judgment, right? So different things for different days and making sure that I'm giving myself the thing that I need on that particular day. Um, so for me, the key is to own the feelings because when I force myself to act like I'm fine, and I tend to have a silent breakdown, which helps no one and is really, really hard to come back from very quickly. So, those are three tips that I use to help myself when I'm feeling like I'm spiraling out of control or about to have a panic attack or a breakdown of some sorts. Let me know if these are helpful for you, if you use any of them. And if you use anything that's different, please put a comment. Let me know what you use. I'm always looking for new unconventional ways to help myself or teach my son how to deal with the emotions that come up throughout the day in my life because you're never too old to learn a new coping skill that will help you go through your life in a healthy and responsible way. So that's all I got for today. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. The box is somewhere on the screen, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Bye.